Hello, and welcome to another Sunday where we are live for our global peace meditations and to talk about some really powerful stuff. So, welcome everybody. We will come over to our main camera here, and I got something kind of cool to show you. Look at that, look. We've got some pretty cool rain outside. It's just started raining. So, I love the rain. So, if you are watching the replay, just know that I appreciate you very much. Thank you so much for being here. Don't you worry at all about the effect, the meditation effect, because even if you are watching after we are live, it still has a powerful effect. We're coming together, we're bringing our intention, and as they often say, that a single person thinking positively very often amounts to a lot more people thinking negatively. So the power of positive thinking, the power of the meditation effect, the power of coming together and doing something like this is truly powerful. So as you saw, title today is a little bit more ambiguous, a time of great change. We're going to be getting back into what we normally talk about. We'll be talking about David's wisdom teachings. We will be finishing off season 1, which is really fascinating. I have done 2 days of performing, so I'm feeling alright actually. I had a bit of a nap, but today's live is probably going to be half as long as usual. So we'll cut this one a little bit shorter. We'll still go through a lot of things. We'll spend some time together, but I certainly need a little bit of rest after the past 2 days. So I'll say that for now. If any of you are wondering why it's a little bit shorter than usual, then that'll be why. But yeah, wow. Can you hear that? I think it might be... Oh, no, you can't see it anymore because the hedgehog's in the way. So we've got some real rain happening out there, which is lovely. Do love that. So yes, how has everybody been? Let me know in the comments. How's your week been? How have you been feeling? Like I say, Lucas and I finished our last 2 days of performing at Cricketh Castle as the Wolf God, the Dragon Tamer, the Ogre, and many other very interesting mythological characters. So that's been a great load of fun. That's been a lot of fun, should I say, to do some storytelling at the castle. So yeah, we finished those today, which is really interesting. Finished for the year. And that's it. So this week has been really... it's been an interesting one. Emotionally, it's been a very interesting one emotionally because it was feeling like we were kind of getting to a point where we were finishing the 7 pages, but we have realized that there is more work to be done. These pages are truly the foundation of everything that we're going to do. So, I've been, I know Lucas says don't mention it, but I don't mind speaking to you guys about it because it's all about understanding, this is a part of this journey. You guys have been on this journey from day one, and now it's interesting. I always told you that I would let you know how I'm feeling at any given moment. And yeah, it's been a very interesting week just to realise that we felt like we were getting so close, and then we really go over it, and then Michael was with us as well. We go over it, we look at it, and it's like, there's more, But ever since we've gone through those reviews, they're already improved 30-40%. They're a lot better than they were, and we just keep doing it over and over. So we're getting them to the position where they're right, and when that happens, a whole new chapter opens up. A whole new chapter opens up, and some really special stuff will start happening. It already is happening. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that it's happening right now in this moment. We've had some really incredible connections come forward, so it's powerful stuff. So welcome everybody, Asana, Katie. Welcome, Katie. Thank you so much. Katie's been very generous over the past week or so. She's really helped us out, which is phenomenal. We're going to be able to get a lot of stuff done. Somebody is looking at the Great Global Garden logo. I've had one of my old friends from my hometown. Actually, I say friends, sort of, we're acquaintances, we know of each other. I think he's a lovely guy, and he's offered to help with the logo. So very soon we should have a human-created, proper, solid logo, which will be fantastic. So Deborah, welcome. Asana, Mummy Malins, welcome. Mark, hello my friend, thank you so much for coming back. Thank you for coming back, everybody. As usual, let's have a check of the audio here. 1 second, let me just have a look. Little look-see. Where should it be? Come on, James, where's it gone? Up here, we'll have a look here, shall we? Thank you for your patience, everyone. Output, input, yes, so bizarre. There we go. Input, output, let's get it in. That's much better, I think. I can talk a little bit quieter. I don't want to blow your eardrums out, but there we go, sorted. So, yeah, Deborah, Rosie, welcome. Blah, thank you for being here. Bradine, love you lots. Thank you for being here and tuning in. Let me just make sure. Lenny from the Glade, welcome, my friend. Thank you for coming back again. being with us, spending that time. It's lovely to have you here. Beverly, Anne, thank you so much for tuning in. And if I've missed any names, Sally, welcome Sally. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you all very much. Yeah, so like I say, guys, this one will be a little bit shorter, but stick around because we are going to be finishing looking through David's season 1 of Wisdom Teachings. It's so fascinating because the application of what he's talking about is just as important today, and it's so fascinating because going back to try to find the actual scientific studies of what David's research was with Dr. Peter Garyayev and Dr. Ian Stevenson. Peter Garyayev with the DNA wave research, Dr. Ian Stevenson with the reincarnation research. Oh, Zoran's mom, welcome. How were your shows this weekend? Thank you so much for the $20 donation. That's really lovely. So, Zoran's mom, as you're coming in, please do also comment in the comment section. I know you mentioned that in the Telegram. Drop a comment in the Telegram, please. I will have it open on my lap, so at least I will be able to see when you comment. So please do comment in the comment section, and then we can all see if your comments are coming forward, because it's really weird. I don't actually remember seeing your comments popping up, so that's really not good. We got to fix that. We want, you're a part of this family, a part of this community, and you're extremely generous, always supporting. So yeah, let's make sure we try to figure that out. I don't think it will be shadow banning. When I have a look over here, it's all good on. Oh, I can't click on the 3 dots for some reason. It might be a little bit lagging, so that why I might not be able to click on it. But anyway, I'll give you a little love heart there. Like I say, please do. I mean, if I make you, I don't know, can I add you as a moderator? Does that work? It's very bizarre. I'm not sure why we wouldn't be seeing your comments, but I'll have a look on the Telegram as we're chatting. So please do keep that up. So Gail, Yelena, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you very much. Brizzy, thank you for being back here. Very, very kind of you. Thanks for tuning in, guys. And Rosie said, rain sounds gorgeous. I was stood in absolutely torrential rain earlier. It was beautiful. I've missed it. I love that. That's amazing. Yeah, I myself, I love it. I absolutely adore it. Thanks, Mark, as well. Mark, we're going to have to hire you as our audio technician at some point, because you've certainly helped out. You've helped out me thinking that it's all great, and it certainly wasn't. So I appreciate you, my friend. And Kimmy, welcome, Kimmy. Thank you so much for tuning in. Absolute pleasure. Appreciate you being here. Mary, we don't see it. Zoran's mom, I've no idea why we're not seeing your comments. Why is that? I don't get it. It's really bizarre and very upsetting, because I'm really it upsets me to think how long you might have been commenting and we not seeing it. That's absolutely crazy. So on my end, if I welcome Lucas, thanks for tuning in. So Lucas and I have had a really good time doing the performing. We've done 7 days in total. So this was the last 2 days. Tiring. Let me just tell you, tiring. It's a lot. It's a lot. So Zoran's mom, yeah, it's not okay though. I really want you to. I appreciate that very much. I want you to be able to comment. Can you please let me know on Telegram when you're typing in and pressing enter? Is it saying it's going through on your end? Is it coming up in the chat section? I would like to think it was, but I can't figure out why. What I'm going to do, Zoran, I hope it's okay with you. I'm going to try to make you a moderator and see if that does anything. So I'm just going to. Israel, welcome. I can only stay a couple of hours today, but that's no worries. It's going to be a little bit of a shorter live today just because I am knackered, to put it bluntly, knackered. I'm only seeing a comments pop up on Telegram. Yeah. Right, well, what I'm going to do, Zoran's mom, I'm just going to try to make you a moderator. So, managing moderator, standard moderator, save. Zoran's mom is now a standard moderator of your channel. So I've just made you a moderator. So let me know. Let me know. Please try one more comment. Let me know in the Telegram, and we'll try to fix this. I really don't understand why that's happening. And you're a part of this community, and I care about you, and I want you to be able to chat with us all. We've got to figure that out somehow. So whatever we have to do on YouTube, maybe afterwards I'll also speak to you privately. We'll try to figure it out one way or another. So. Susanna Shaughnessy, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Yes! Can you see this? Yes, we can! We can see it. That must have worked then. Making you a moderator must have worked. Look at that, look. That's so good. There you go. Okay, fixed. We fixed it. We fixed it. That's amazing. How weird is that? Why? That goes to show how many other people has that happened to. I don't like the idea of that, but anyway. Brizzy, I totally get that, James. Rest is just as important as action. Yep, I'm taking a rest day today too, physically, emotionally. Yeah, I totally understand. Yes, we've got Zoran's mom in here. Thank goodness for that. That's perfect. Amazing. Whoopsie. Throwing my phone everywhere. Right then, guys. So now another thing as well is because Lucas and I have been we haven't stopped this week. We have gone really hard on sorting the pages out, getting everything ready, and so it's been a busy week, but extremely productive. Really, really, really productive. So yeah, it's absolutely amazing. It's exciting stuff, guys, and we're just the way that this is all going to continue to unfold is miraculous. Gail, was there anything more to the James? I think there probably should have been. What week is this, James? This is week 18. Although, in theory, it's week 19. So after, from everything that's happened, in theory, it is week 19. So, because we missed 1 week. If you remember, one of those weeks I was also quite annihilated. So, oh, bless you, Gail. Yeah, no, it's been wonderful. It's been... we had a bit more of a challenging time, I suppose, this castle, because it was really, really torrential rain, so we had to do it inside. But we adapted, we figured it out. It was good fun. So yeah, it's been a good year of performing, to be fair. All right, guys. So let's get into it then, shall we? So today's title is A Time of Great Change. We might keep this next week, because it's a pretty good title. Where were we going with this? It was going to be, we was going to start to explore a little bit more of the heritage crafts. But also what's interesting is I wanted to go through the East India Trading Company. Now, this was a suggestion by Lucas. It's something that we're going to look at putting in what we're talking about. But I wanted to also talk about it. I just didn't have time to sort it out. So, yeah, Zoran's mom, absolutely. I hope you do. You've been really, you're an integral part of this community. Every time we go live, it's become a wonderful experience to see your name pop up in orange. So, you're a part of this community. I'm so happy we fixed this. So that's so good. Yeah. Deborah, it's a really good question. We unfortunately... we might have to next time sort of get people, have like a little board which has a QR code which says please send your messages to us. We might have to sort out Lucas's Instagram accounts and then get it where people can tag us, because we didn't get a chance to, because we're both performing. It's a bit more difficult to get the images and videos and things, but we do have some. I mean, I showed them last time, so maybe next week I can show the final ones and we can do that. So yeah. Anne says, it's been very emotional last days since our King Harold died. Oh my goodness, I heard about that. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry for your loss and for the loss of with your people. That's quite a significant event. So I'm so sorry to hear that. It sounds to me like there was a respect and a love for that man. Is that true? So yeah, I'm sorry for your loss. Absolutely, certainly. Sorry for your loss. Rosie says, I went to Cricket Primary School for my early years. I have fond memories of that little castle. Beautiful. Well, that's really nice to know that we went there to sort of connect with your childhood, I suppose. So yes, sorry to hear that, Anne. I send you my love. And right, let's get into the beginning of the live. So as always, David, brother, wherever you are, whatever happened 19 weeks ago, we appreciate you very much. We have stayed dedicated to you, to everything that you stood for, everything that was a part of your life and your life's mission and your life's purpose. So, absolutely send my love to David. I know we all do as well. And Anne, that's really interesting, Anne. I really appreciate you sharing that. I'll actually look into that gentleman. It's interesting why I never knew that there was that individual. So yeah, I humbly appreciate you sharing. Thank you so much. I'll have a look. I appreciate that. The Norwegian King, very interesting. Okay then. So yes, we are on live number 18 today. So this is all of the lives that we have done. over the past 19 weeks. One of them we missed. The rest of them, they are all here. I'll just take my camera off for just a moment so you can see that. So there we go. We finished on heritage crafts and the future of creativity last week. This coming week I'll have a lot more time to do my slides. There are a lot more things I want to bring forward for next week's live. So yeah, interesting. I truly love the fact that, you know, we've spent all this time together. You know, it's really, really powerful. Okay, so last week's live stream we went through quite a lot of David's wisdom teachings. Thank you, Deborah. Yeah, hit that like button if you haven't already. So we went through David's wisdom teachings. We got to about episode 4, I think. We're going to go through probably 4, 5, and 6 this for today's live, and that's probably where we're going to get. I didn't get a chance to finish my or even start my East India Trading Company slides, so we'll go as far as as far as we can today. Obviously, we looked into the DNA phantom effect, which is very much Dr. Peter Garyayev and his research, all about photons of light being drawn into the geometric structure of DNA using a gravitational attraction. Okay, so what that means is that your DNA, like the stars, like the planets, you know, we are told we have that gravitational effect going on. Your DNA has exactly the same gravitational wave that is its nature and its character, and it draws photons of light into it. Okay, so again, this was a few of the scientific images of that. So you can see over here, when they didn't have DNA in the quartz container and they shone light into it, the photons were scattered. When they did put the DNA in, they literally got sucked into this wave format. Okay, so it is showing us that the wave comes before the physical DNA matter, and when you remove that DNA, so when you remove the actual DNA from the crystal container, the photons of light still try to go into that pattern. Okay, so even if the physical matter is not there, the photons of light will try to go into the formation of the geometric structure of DNA. It's fascinating. And of course, we looked into again what Dr. Peter Garyayev did, where he shone light through a healthy raspberry plant into one that had a tumor, and it ended up growing into a healthy raspberry plant. So it fixed itself, it corrected the defects that it had, and as we say, went into a healthy raspberry plant. And then, of course, we looked at the same situation where if you take a human embryo out of a mother's womb, it only grows to roughly about 28 cells before it stops growing completely, assuming to us that this wave of creation exists within the mother's womb, and that is what creates the child, creates life. Okay, so, you know, that relationship with the mother and child is absolutely imperative, you know. So yes, so this is our 18th live stream doing global peace meditations. This one might be a little bit shorter, as I've said, as we've finished 2 solid days of performing. We will finish off David's wisdom teachings episode 4, 5 and 6, and we will see if we can get... No, we won't, is the basic answer to that last bit. No, we won't. So, like I say, guys, with a little bit more time, because I'm certain that there are search browsers, because I know for a fact that Google is quite... From what I've understood and what I've experienced myself with Google, I think that it stops the searching of certain things. I think that it blocks it off, and there are certain websites that you actually can't find that you should be able to find, but Google doesn't let you find them. So it has been my intention to find a browser that will let me research the websites I want to research without there being any blocking to that information. So I will try to... Yeah, well, this is the power, asana. It's that understanding that our thoughts are also, you know, the pineal gland has the piezoelectric qualities. It has the crystals within it. So we have those retinal crystals within our pineal gland. So if it's taking in light, if light is the mechanism, and we have our thoughts thinking on a certain wavelength, thinking of healing, thinking of positivity, then, you know, we're putting out that light. And so if a laser light can heal a raspberry plant, then what can our thoughts and our mind, when it's focused, actually do? So yeah, absolutely. Oh. Right then. So 5 global peace meditations, probably would be more like 2. We'll see. First one will be with David, and it is his The Clock is Ticking live. So you Yandex browser. Thank you so much, Gail. I will have a look at that, because I tell you what, if I type in the Dr. Peter Garayev experiments and it comes up with the actual appropriate links, and that'll be fascinating, because then we'll know for sure. But let me do a bit of research on that, and I'll come back to you with facts next week. Stacey, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in, Stacey. I appreciate you very much. We're only just getting into the live, so if you've only just tuned in, or if you've been here a while, that's fine too. But we're just getting into it, so we're sort of going into how today's live's going to be. And Zoran's mom, we can do anything we set our minds to. We absolutely can. Absolutely. Appreciate that, Gail. I'll definitely look into that. So Yandex. Let me just write that down. Let me just put that on there. Yandex. Yandex with an X, yeah? Yes, beautiful. Perfect. I will have a look at that. I really appreciate that suggestion. Perfect. These ones I didn't manage to change, so yes, we will do David's meditation. We'll see how long we're into it, and then we'll go from there. So, probably do our I am with you prayer. So yeah, and then obviously the link is also there. I know it's a little bit tricky. If you go onto David's YouTube, you'll be able to type it in for yourself and watch it. It is a 5-hour live, but at the end we will do that meditation. So just so you know where it is, just in case you want to do it again through the week, it's entirely up to you. Right then, so Wisdom Teachings, Season 1, Episodes 4 to 6, and I'd like to make sure that we properly get through this so that we can go on to Season 2 next week. That would be really nice. You know, I've been trying to... I'm also going to be doing my own little sort of pages, so that when I print them off in my folder, I can have all of David's teachings from each season. You know, so that as I'm talking to people and chatting, I've got things I can show them, which would be lovely. Okay. So, Episode 4 is Beyond Cosmic Consciousness. Space... A quote from this at 1 minute and 17 seconds is: space, time, matter and biological life is part of a sentient universe. The universe itself is alive. He revisited the meditation effect, which he very much did through all of Season 1. This is one of my favourite things that he has mentioned, and it's one that I've come to understand a lot, you know, within my own life. Something that I've come to understand, something that I've come to appreciate, is the universe is biased in favour of love and peace. You know, as we explore the reality that we're in, as we explore what's happening with what we're told through our news outlets, you know, the awful things that happen in Naples, which, you know, will certainly send a little bit of love and light and healing over there, because that was quite an event. You know, as usual, we see videos where it looks like it was orchestrated, you know, it looks like it happened on purpose. When you marry it up with a lot of the things that they have already suggested, you know, it's it's something that, you know, unfortunately we're looking and we're thinking it's crazy. You know, this is something that looks like it's happening. So anyway, we'll send some love and peace over to Naples to really hold some space there. Brizzy said, Tree Dog had a lovely idea of using I Am With You prayer during the meditation at the festival. Absolutely. But like I say, guys, anybody wants to use that, Nepal, thank you. Thanks, Mum. Yeah, if anybody wants to use that prayer, please do feel free. You know, like, absolutely. It's yours to use as you wish. Blas says, I dreamed I lost a tooth and was looking for it. Transition and renewal rebirth is coming. Fascinating. Yeah, absolutely fascinating. Well, there you go then. Yeah, incredible. You'll have to let me know how that transpires over the next couple of months. He also revisited James Spottiswoode, which is where we are 400% more psychic when aligned with the galactic centre, but not with any cycle on Earth. So the fascinating research that they did was that when they took people and they tested them with the usual sort of psychic tests with the cards and all of those things, they recognised that when they did the research over a good period of years, people were 400% more psychic when aligned with the galactic centre, but again, not with any actual cycle on Earth. So it's just interesting, you know, the origins of reality. You know, is there something within our universe where there is an origin point or a communication point? So it's very, very interesting. Sorry for the late reply. Such a privilege to be able to connect with people in such a profound way. Be a bard in the old sense. Absolutely, yeah. Deborah says, Brother James, how are your retinas doing? I sent you some healing energy. I appreciate that very much. It's hard to tell. So with my eyes, obviously, for those of you that don't know, I did get, with the eclipse, I got burn in the center of my eyes. It's still there. I can't tell whether it's improving or not. I still have this central, sort of like, sunspot, blind spot in the middle of my vision. Over a long distance, it's not good. So it is what it is. I'm doing my best. I appreciate all the healing as well, guys. You know, obviously when we look at the metaphysical side of things and looking at why that happened and why I'm going through that experience, I have no idea. It's still going on. Apparently it can take a month or even up to a year. So hopefully with the continued, with me looking after my... I mean, maybe it's also because I'm looking at screens all day and I can't avoid that. You know, with the progress we're making, I have to make sure that we're constantly on it. So I don't really know. I don't really know what to do. But anyway, I appreciate you healing, and no doubt my eyes will fully and completely heal. You know, I'm not on this planet to suffer for no reason. I did it innocently. I didn't do it, you know, for any other reason, and I don't believe that I'm here to you know, have my eyesight affected. Oh my goodness, bless you. Asna, may this bring with it love and compassion always. So grateful for our beautiful family here, all because of you. Oh, Asna, that's really, really kind of you. Thank you so much for the absolutely wonderful $33.33 donation. That's really kind of you. Thank you so much for supporting me, honestly. You know, especially when I also feel a bit tired today. That's a really nice boost. So I appreciate that tremendously. I really, really do. Rosie said, have you been to an optician, or is that not something you're interested in? No, of course. What I heard is that there's not really a lot people can do about it. That's why I haven't been, and also we have been very busy, so I haven't had the time. I might then go in Bangor and just have a look and go to the optician in Bangor and just see what they say. Like I say, there are a few things, you know, there was saffron, activated saffron when it's in water. Apparently that's incredible for the eyes. I know my mum mentioned about eye drops, so I will probably go to the opticians too. You know, like, apparently a lot of people had this situation. No idea. I'll keep meditating and sitting with why it came forward. I know one of the lessons, but anyway. So, a real creation, welcome, thank you for being here. Breathe light, pleasure to have you, thank you for tuning in. And again, Asana, so generous of you, thank you so much for the wonderful support. I really, really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. It's very, very kind of you and very, very humbling. Thank you so much. So yes, again, if you want to have a look for this, a look at this, let me just fix that. Good job, I recognize that. Restart capture, there we go. If you want to have a look at this yourself, it's called the Sidereal Time Calendar. That's the link there. All you have to do online is type in the Sidereal Calendar and you can find out when you're most likely to be 400% more psychic. So, you know, yeah, absolutely, Stacey. Well, these are blue light glasses. So I got the little blue light thing with the card and it did seem to block it. So I wear these all the time, these blue light glasses, especially when I'm working on my screens. So, you know, I'm hoping that is always the case. Angels for us, welcome. Thank you for being here. And yeah, absolutely. But look, Angels, the beautiful thing is that every week we come together, 19 weekends in a row. We have kept the spirit of David alive. You know, we've done it together. And not only that, but the spirit of David and everything we've been doing has led to some really powerful stuff with the Great Global Garden, the Great Charter of the Earth and its people, and everything that we're creating. And that was all because these miraculous events of us coming together, you know. And so, very powerful stuff, guys. Very powerful. Another element here with James Spottiswoode, if I'm not mistaken, apologies guys, I'll double check that, but all carcinogens are scrambled at 380 nanometers. Okay, so carcinogenic substances, the carcinogenics that we end up getting within those cancer-causing substances, they are scrambled at 380 nanometers. So again, it's this connotation that there is light which we can heal ourselves with. Okay, and of course, the pharmaceutical industry only makes money if we stay sick. You know, Lucas and I were talking about this. Oftentimes, you will get drugs, and then you need drugs for those drugs, and you need drugs for the side effects of the drugs that you've taken, and it just is a never-ending cycle. You know, and we become the quarterly profit margin for a lot of the shareholders in the pharmaceutical industry. So, you know, we are We got to understand that our ability to heal ourselves at all points throughout our life is powerful, and maybe that's what my eyes are about. You know, maybe my eyes are about understanding that I can heal myself and I will heal myself, and there is something that I'm yet to discover. You know, so I have to trust that process and go through it. Okay. So what if the real basis for health is photonic? You know, I find this fascinating. This is what David had mentioned as well. What if the real basis for health is photonic? What does that mean? It means it's based on light. What if the real foundation of our health and how we feel is light? Now, a lot of people will say as well that if you are in a state of joy and happiness and peace, and if you're able to cultivate a peaceful mind, if you're able to cultivate a joyful heart, a loving heart, a kind heart, you're going to be a lot more healthy within yourself. If you're harboring resentment and anger and rage, then that can manifest within our physical bodies. You know, a lot of people, they're holding shame and guilt, anger, rage, envy, resentment, all of these things, and that can really have a big impact on our energetic and light bodies. You know, don't forget that they were able to realize that a single DNA cell holds 1,000 photons of light, and if we have 920 trillion cells within our body, that means you have 920 quadrillion photons of light within your physical body. Okay, I want to look into your eyeballs as I say this. You have a minimum of 920 quadrillion photons of light within your physical body. You are a being of light, literally. When they broke open the DNA, 1,000 photons of light shot open, and they were able to count it through their tools and their machines. You are literally a photon of light. Myra, hiya. Do not. It makes me sad. Myra, I'm very confused, Myra. You've been here for months on end, and I thought last week we mentioned about this, and you understood what we were saying, and you're saying it again. I don't quite understand. I don't have ads turned on these lives. I'm not making any money on these lives other than the wonderful, generous donations that you guys are giving, because it takes hours to create these slides, and obviously it's 3 hours and 33 minutes, and the donations aren't expected, but they are, you know, deeply welcomed and appreciated. So, Myra, I'm not sure what you've forgotten about last week. I'm assuming maybe there's something else going on there, but just remember, you come each week. I'm assuming that you enjoy the community, you enjoy being with us, you recognise that we are keeping alive the work of a gentleman that's really powerful. And don't forget that we're also talking about our work within this as well. So we're talking about the Great Global Garden. So it's a mixture of David, it's a mixture of us. We're just making sure that all the hard work that David did is still here. So I hope that this is enough for you this week, and that if you're here next week, you'll understand that we are this is what we've been doing for 19 weekends, and you know, it's what we've been doing to come together as a community. So there's no shame on me. I feel no shame, no guilt at all whatsoever in any way, shape or form. I feel deeply honoured and grateful to be able to continue talking about David, sharing his image, which I will do until the end of time if I can, to, you know, love all of what he's done. And if anything ever happens to me, you share my image everywhere, even if it's on a scarecrow to keep the cats off the garden. You share my image. Don't listen to a single soul that says to me or says to you that you can't share my image or you can't do this, you know. And if you want to make money off ads, off of lives talking about what we're doing in the Great Global Garden, you do whatever you got to do. We live in a world where we have to understand that, you know, we live in a world that isn't the way we would normally want to live. You know, we'd want to live in peace and harmony, not have to worry about money. So, like I say, you are deeply welcomed here, Myra, but just please understand that's the second weekend in a row now. I thought we talked about this, and I thought you were understanding. If this isn't for you, then maybe you shouldn't be watching, you know. So just remember that we're here in love. We're talking about David and everything that he was doing. I said from the very beginning, 19 lives ago, that I wouldn't put ads on this live stream, and I haven't. You know, I've stayed true to my word. So anyway, like I say, you're more than welcome here, but please, you understand why we're doing this. I know that you said this last week. So yeah, and remember, you know, the very last live, you can go and find it yourself. We had the timestamp in one of our live streams. David said, please people, keep on doing the global peace meditations. I don't know if Jude is doing the global peace meditations. So far I haven't met another soul on earth that is doing the global peace meditations like David, you know. And I, in my heart of hearts, with me with me doing what I'm doing. If anybody ever then wanted to carry the torch and start doing their own global peace meditations, go for it. And don't let a single soul on earth tell you that I'm not okay with it, because you have here at 35 minutes exactly on the 18th live stream at 19:35 on Sunday the 30th of August. You can capture this and you can send it, say, see, he said. So anyway, love you, Myra. You know, again, I'm assuming we're past this now. I hope that we're past it. So, of course. Right, guys, let's get back to it. So, like we said, you know, again, somebody has shared, don't forget, people have shared the link for David's wisdom teachings. You can go and find them yourself. You know, they're fantastic. They're not on Gaia anymore, you know. So David spent hours and hours and hours and hours of his life doing those wisdom teachings, and you can't find them anywhere. Gaia TV deleted them all, but one absolutely fantastic, incredible individual or a group of people, I don't know who it was, they saved every video and I've been able to watch them, and it's absolutely mwah, chef's kiss. It's beautiful and I deeply appreciate it. So anyway, right then, let's keep going. So we have to keep on working to keep light in. We have to work on keeping the light in our light bodies. Now this is an interesting one because it's something that I deeply resonate with. Okay, I deeply resonate with physical exercise. I deeply resonate with moving your body. Okay, and if you think about the cells within our body and the fact that when you get the blood flowing, you get your lungs breathing, you get the mind working, right? You're working yourself, right? So therefore you're allowing more light into your body. That's the connotation. Okay, the connotation is that the gravitational effect of our DNA, when we exercise, when we move, when we're working through things, you know, it allows us to let more light into our being, and that's exactly what David was sharing through episode 4. Okay, now the interesting thing was that what they did in order to break open the DNA was they used ethidium bromide. Okay, and what that does is when you break down a DNA molecule, they were able to see the 1,000 photons of light shot out of that DNA molecule, you know, which is incredible, you know, incredible to think about that. Oh, bless you, Yelena. Thank you so much for the 10 BAM. I really appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Thank you for supporting these live streams. You know, look, guys, we're a very close, intimate community. You know, and like of all of you here, you've been so generous supporting me. You know, it's been a tremendous help. And like I say, it's not expected, but the fact that you're willing to help me is just is heartwarming. You know, very heartwarming. So thank you so much for the lovely generous donation. I'll pop a little love heart on there as well. And Israel, yeah, it is, you know, and I was so gutted when I heard, and that was when David was still with us, you know, that they deleted all of the videos because there was that whole issue that went on. That was 30 seasons. Let me just say this to you. That was 30 seasons of his videos gone, and I have them all. Okay, so remember, I've shared the link in the description. I'm pretty sure it's in the description. If not, I can get it for you. So it's a little bit of a faff because you have to use a torrent. Okay, so I had to use a torrent to do it, but I downloaded every single video. It took a while, quite a while actually. It took about at least 3 weeks to download them all. But I downloaded them all and they're beautiful. You know, they're really beautiful. Sorry here. Breathelight says, I appreciate what James is doing. That he shuts off the ads demonstrates he's not here for self-serving motives. Did you know David W. did have ads on his live streams all the time? I know he did. But, you know, at the same time, most people will do that. You know, because, look, I mean, I've been living on scraps for a long time. Can I say? And it sucks, right? So the fact that David was, you know, he was a massive part of my awakening, a massive part of me recognizing what was happening and who and what I really was. So when I bought his courses and when I donated to him, which I did a few times, excuse me, I would have given him a lot more if I could. Why? Because the value that he offered me in my life was so significant and so powerful that he's worth every penny. And even if he was a millionaire, take it, brother. It's my way of saying thanks, you know? So, you know, it's like I say, it is. I know that some people think, you know, we're making money, you know, people call him a grifter, which, whatever, you know, to me, it's like, it's just, I'm doing this with you because I love you guys and because, you know, it's, look at where we've got to again with the Great Global Garden, but still, like, David lived the life he did, he helped millions of people, there's got to be some kind of a, you know, some kind of a little bit of, like, thanks, brother, like, here you are, you know, look after yourself, you know, so, Anyway. Oh, interesting, Bradine. I have a copy of David's resignation letter to Gaia on X. I would love to see that, Bradine. So if you'd be able to share in the Telegram group, I would really love to see that if you're willing to share. So yeah, please do. Blau says, yes, scraps suck for real. Yeah, they do. Please, Deborah, sounds good. Although, look, we've been paid from the performing, so I'm okay. I'm okay now. But again, you know, this is what I do full time. Great Glove Gardens is what I do full time. So I don't have a job. I don't have an income. I'm not here to pity party. It's just I appreciate your support in all cases. Thank you so much, guys. I love that we know you're scrappy, James. Your appreciation for everything stems from the moments of dealing with scraps. It has made your beautiful heart shine brighter. That I appreciate. That's very kind of you. Thank you so much. And of course, you know, like gratitude is a very, very powerful thing to experience. You know, gratitude is a wonderful thing. So, bless you, Israel. Well, like I say, you know, Michael often jokes around that, you know, we want £4.5 billion. We want £450 billion. Then if it's still about buying land, we'll buy all of the land and we'll put the people back on it. You know, we'll buy the crown out. You know, we'll buy the crown, get rid of all the crown nonsense and give all the land back to the people. Whatever it takes. You know, I'm not in here for the money. I don't care about fancy things. Never have, never will. It doesn't mean anything to me. I purely want to make sure that our world is restored. You know, what else matters? I genuinely couldn't care less about anything. Our planet has to be restored. We have to have clean rivers, clean air. We have to have good, clean oceans. We have to have pristine food that has all of the nutrients in it. What else matters, honestly? Oh, bless you, Suzanne. That's very kind of you. Thank you so much. Lucas, and one day, bro, you will have socks without holes in them. Maybe I'll also have t-shirts without holes in them, yeah? Yeah, maybe I'll have t-shirts without holes in them, guys. What do you think? God, okay, I can swear. I swear to God, I could swear. Where are my socks? Hold on, you want to see something funny, guys? These are worn socks. They need to go in the wash, so don't judge any... But look, if you really want... You know, we could make a little windsock out of these, alright? I might be traumatizing somebody here, I'm so sorry. See, look? And it isn't the mice, I promise. Anyway, let's get back to it. My goodness. Sorry, guys. You're probably waiting for the content. Let me get into it. So, the human body has 100 trillion cells. Only 10% of the cells in your body are human. That leaves you with 10 trillion cells. Right, let's just stop there for a moment, okay? Only 10% of the cells in your body are human. That means that you are living a symbiotic and harmonious relationship with the rest of your body to a large degree. You know, there'll be some, you know, perhaps some other elements in there, but the vast majority of your body is a working, harmonious organizational system, right? It really is. You guys are so funny. Look, I'm going to get to the comments in a second. I promise you. So, that means that the other 90 trillion cells are bacterias. They are all kinds of organisms working in tandem within your body. Okay? Of the 10 trillion cells, each cell has 46 chromosomes. Each chromosome has 2 chromatids. So you have a total of 92 DNA molecules. Okay, molecules being the cells, the molecules being the light that sorry. I'll get to that in a second. So you have 92 DNA molecules in your body. Each one in each cell is storing 1,000 photons. Okay, that means you have 920 trillion DNA molecules, each with 1,000 photons. That's 920 quadrillion photons of light in your body. Okay? That doesn't even include the mitochondrial DNA, which could easily double the number. So you have a minimum of 920 trillion DNA cell molecules in your body, each with 1,000 photons. That's mind-blowing. Okay? I think you'll all agree that's mind-blowing. So you're sat there with your name, your personality, your experiences in life, your beliefs, your understandings, but you are literally 920 quadrillion photons of light. You're a being of light. Okay? Crazy. Isn't that crazy? DNA molecules display telepathy-like quality. When you break down DNA and colour it, then throw it into water, it begins to bring itself back together, which is the equivalent, pay attention here guys, listen to this, It is the equivalent of travelling thousands of miles and cutting an encyclopedia up, throwing it into the air, and that encyclopedia reforms exactly the way it was, which is nigh on impossible. Right? So that's like taking... do I have a prop available? Come on, James. Give me a book. Give me a book. Give me a book. Give me a book. Oh my goodness. Ah. That's like taking this book, chopping all the pages, so the words, chopping them up into tiny little squares, right? All different squares together, tiny little squares, grabbing them in a bucket or something, launching them up into the air, and all of those little pieces of paper reform back into this perfect book. Okay? Do you guys follow me there? So that's like cutting this book up, throwing it in the air, and as it comes down, it reforms perfectly back the way it was. That's what DNA does. So when you cut up DNA, you throw it into water, like with that gravitational effect, it starts to reassemble itself in the water. Right, now this is fascinating, because I don't know whether David goes into this any deeper in his wisdom teachings. I'd like to know if he does. But there's something coming up for me in regards to our physical reality being a crystalline molecular structure, or a water-based structure, right? So even though this atmosphere around us is, we think it's air, we think it's space, I think there is a fluid-like quality. Can I say anything on it? Absolutely not. But I think, if I remember, he mentions about this, because that would make sense. Because your body, the DNA of your body right now, is keeping you, just like this book, is keeping you solid, right? Your DNA is bringing light within you. It's giving you a physical experience. It's really, really fascinating, okay? Really fascinating. So your DNA is absolutely miraculous. Really is miraculous. Excuse me. Oh. If DNA is attracted to itself, right, there's the key part there. If DNA is attracted to itself, the only force which could explain this is gravity. DNA is a wave. It gathers physical molecules together to form the building blocks of life, to form you. What is a wave? It is a vibration. What is a wave? It is a wavelength, and light itself comprises of wavelengths. UV light is a wavelength. So you've got sound, you have light, and you have matter, vibration. Okay? So sound, vibration, light, which is that wave, it's that wavelength, okay? UV wavelengths. And of course, vibration and sound and light as well. So again, there's just something very interesting about the vibration, about the wavelengths of physical reality. Here are the images for the machinery that they used in order to count the photons. Okay, so they shone the laser. You can tell I'm tired, guys. Come on, James. They shone the laser into the crystalline container, and then they counted the photons through the photon counting equipment that they had here, and then they counted it through the computer. So yes, very, very fascinating. When you shoot light into a dark room, into a container of quartz, you count the little dots. When DNA is in the container, they all shoot into the form of the DNA molecule. So there again, background empty space. When the DNA is in there, they form into the DNA wave. It's really, really insane, guys. This is insane stuff. And then, of course, the phantom DNA was when they removed the DNA and it still stayed there. So the photons of light remained there for 30 days. Okay, that means that wherever you're walking, you are leaving a DNA phantom behind you. It's really incredible stuff. All right, guys. So the DNA phantom effect, where the DNA is gone but leaves a spiraling light form. Okay, so it's like, here's this pen. Okay, here's this pen. This pen is the DNA. So you imagine this, you can see this DNA here. When you remove it, there is a phantom of light which remains. Okay, this is the fascinating thing. There is a phantom of light which remains. So you remove the DNA out and you imagine it's still there. Okay, this is what he found. And this is well documented. You know, even on Google you can find that. The wave comes before the DNA. This is important. This is the understanding that we are energetic beings. Okay, we are energetic beings. Before physical matter, there is energy, and this is proving that. You know, so this is really why it's really fascinating stuff. What if your DNA is an antenna? What if it is tuning into the photons around you? What if the amount of light in your body determines your physical health? This is what we mentioned earlier. Physical exercise allows this light in, an energetic structure in gravity, and they would blast the phantom with nitrogen gas, which would scatter the photons. The phantom would disappear for 8 to 10 minutes and then return exactly as it was. Okay, so they would take this phantom of light, they would blast it with nitrogen gas, which would scatter the light, and then when they allowed it to cool down and they left it for about 8 to 10 minutes, those light particles would return back to where they were. It's really fascinating stuff. This remains visible for a whopping 30 days after it is first removed. That means that 900 trillion cells we have, which are holding light, leave a DNA phantom behind. Oh, I'm not even on the monitor. Sorry, guys. I very much apologise for that. Sorry, guys. Well, you had me. You had the vision of me for the whole time. Tree Dog, welcome, my friend. Thank you for being here. Oh. DNA is harnessing a non-electromagnetic energy. Gravitational energy has a quantum spin, so this was from episode 4, and it suggests that this wave which holds this light in place is essential for health. And again, we got to human embryogenesis. If you take a human zygote out of a woman's womb and put it into a test tube, it will grow no more than 80 cells before it moves into a stasis, which means it doesn't go any further, it does nothing else. It needs the mother's womb for the information on how to turn into a baby. That information comes from the wave that we're talking about. Okay, so if the child is not in the womb and it is removed and goes elsewhere, even though those 80 cells have DNA within them, have that information, it doesn't go anywhere further because it is the mother that provides the information. So sorry, you'd assume that those 80 cells still had the information, but they don't. It is the mother's womb which provides the information, and if you remove a child before that, it stops growing after 80 cells. You know, this connection with mother and child is imperative. Okay, there you go again. So we've got here, as the stages go on, I believe, and you'll have to forgive me on this, but it's around about probably round about day 6 or 7, but wherever the 80 cells is, that again it goes no further. It stops growing altogether. Okay. Once again, we had, I believe it's Vladimir Budakovsky in 2000, recorded a fragment of a healthy raspberry plant tissue in a hologram with a red laser, and then when he shines that laser into shines that healthy raspberry plant hologram into a raspberry plant with a tumour, it turned into a healthy raspberry plant. Forgive me for the grammatical mistakes, guys. It's been little. This is why David's stuff was awesome. Him being able to do his slides every week is insane. I don't know how he did it. Did it so well. It really is interesting. So again, this brings us to this understanding of heal thyself. Okay, we can heal ourselves. The entire genetic code can be enfolded into a single photon of light. Okay. I didn't expect for the episode 4 to go on so long. Hold on a second, guys. Let me just get to the new bits, which is actually literally the next slide. Episode 5. Okay, so let's go into here. All right. So, and then I'll go through the comments, then we'll do our meditation, and then we'll probably, you can see I'm starting to flag a little bit, we'll probably call it for this week. Next week it will be our usual 3 hours and 33 minutes, assuming nothing crazy happens. So, I heard pizza somewhere in here, and I didn't read it. And it was lovely, wasn't it? Yes, it was lovely. The pizza was amazing. It was delicious. Rosie says, "Oh my God, has Dad to buy you socks instead of your father has supported me tremendously. He was gonna support me the other day, and I told him no because he's supported me far too much at this point. I can stand on my own 2 feet now. But I did help your dad dig out at least maybe 1.5 tons of soil the other day, so he's been able to sort out the back of the house, which is nice. He's dug a trench now, so that was tiring work. Can I say? I've still got the the calluses from it. It was good though." Okay, so episode 5, Wisdom Teachings. We live in a living, conscious universe that is alive and aware of itself. The old definition is that life begins biologically. The new definition, the suggested, is that life begins energetically. I think a lot of us, understand that at this point. The way that our world works is truly miraculous, and there's no way that there isn't that deeper intelligence within and around us that we are connected to. Dr. Peter Garyaev did experiments by taking seeds that were destroyed in the Chernobyl incident, shining the same effect, so they did the same sort of research, shining laser light through healthy seeds into the destroyed seeds, restructuring them to be healthy seeds which then grew again. So they took seeds that were clinically dead, they shone this light into them, and what the idea is as you shine the light into these seeds, it allows the DNA of those seeds to start restructuring and reorganizing themselves. Okay, it's like watching a symphony. Okay, so you're watching a symphony, you're listening to the cellos and the violins and the pianos and the singing and the all of these gorgeous, beautiful things. And the other example is you're listening to, it's all over the place, violins are playing in the wrong place, the wrong notes, the wrong timings and all of this, and it sounds awful. Then you have a conductor, you have a conductor who is then looking after the orchestra. He's showing people how to go and they're following it, and it is beautiful. It's classical music, it's gorgeous, it's wonderful, it's truly something to be in awe of. Okay, that conductor is like the light. Okay, that conductor is the light which allows all of the appropriate DNA molecules to go into the locations that they're supposed to be in, therefore reviving the seeds. Now, this is from David's Wisdom Teachings, don't forget. I'm going to try Yandex that Gail suggested. I'm going to try Yandex, and I'm going to try to find the source links that I'm looking for, because a lot of them, like the Aradapopsis, the mustard plant. It's a specific mustard plant that they've done a lot of the studies on, and what they found was that 15% of the time, this plant, once pollinated and grown from 2 mutated mustard plants, it spontaneously healed itself, when it shouldn't have done, because these 2 plants were mutated and diseased. They were interfered with, but yet it rectified itself. So it's fascinating. Let's come back here. This is the demonstration that the code for life is all around us. Okay, so let me pay attention to that one. The code for life is all around us. Okay, it's in the air around you. Just remember, right? We take for granted that radio waves, the internet, all of these different wavelengths of light that are passing through our building, the radiation that's passing through our building. Israel, I appreciate that. No, I genuinely appreciate that. It's very kind of you, I wouldn't do this unless I could. Look, I'm a man that I have no problem pushing myself, If we don't in life, nothing gets done. If we... Arabidopsis. Yes, thank you. Perfect. That's much better. Arabidopsis. Yes, that's exactly it. Arabidopsis, which is the mustard plant. I'm really good at pronouncing, but over these 19 weeks, I've sort of proven that the other way. But anyway, yeah. So to me, it's like there are times in life when you have to push, and you got to put the time and effort in. You have to put the energy in, even when you're tired. It's not always going to be the perfect conditions to do things in life. Sometimes, like with what we talked about earlier, the financial side of things, it isn't always the perfect conditions, but we got to do it anyway. Life will not. What I've found, life will not hang around, I know when I have that inspiration, and sometimes, it's tiring, there's so many things that happen, and you've got to deal with it. You have to deal with it quick, you have to deal with it on the spot, but, it's something that if I absolutely was catatonic right now, I'd go off the life, I've got a bit left in the tank, so it's all good. Anyway, radio waves are bouncing all around us. Radiation is bouncing all around us. We take it for granted. Gravity, you know, we're being sat here on the chair, we take it for granted, we don't see it. The wind, go out, feel the wind on your face. How is an invisible force that you can't see having a physical effect on your face? So then the question is, how many other invisible forces are having an effect on us, right? So if life is all around us, if the code for DNA is all around us, if the code for life is all around us, then we can tap in at that at any given moment. And I know for a fact within the Bible that Jesus or Yeshua supposedly said that I am with you, you know, I'm with you at all times, I'm with you always, all you need to do is tap in. And maybe that is that element, you know, is that we can tap into the code of life, you know, because that individual was known as the solar logos, right? The word of light, right? Solar, logos, light, word, right? So maybe we're getting that understanding that solar logos, that's that understanding that life is around us, okay? And we can tap into that at any given moment. Blas says, you're refreshing, James, lol. That was very... Oh, you did that on purpose, didn't you? You put a word that I would have to pronounce and failed pronouncing. I want to say factitious, but then I never knew that factitious had an E in it. Anyway, there you go. And such a human of... Yeah, well, absolutely. Brizzy says, if you always wait for the perfect time, you will never get what or where you desire. Rest in you. Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that, guys. Absolutely. So yes, Asana, everything exists everywhere all the time. It does indeed. And it again, why do we talk about this? Because it changes our relationship with our world and our environment. You know, and again, it kind of links into that idea that if it's all around us, and there's no, you know, there's not like, oh, in 3 years' time I'll tap into whatever. It's all around you all the time. So, anyway. Okay. This is the demonstration that the code for life is all around us and DNA. Much like a crystal requires a structure for it to form appropriately, DNA forms a geometric structure as well. Okay? So here we have Peter Dr. Garyayev. That's the gentleman right there. That is spelt wrong, and I thought I fixed that, but anyway. Don't forget that the seeds Dr. Peter Garyayev experimented on were clinically dead. Biological life should not be able to come back from death. But yet, just like the wave can make life out of non-living material, this wave can also heal us. All species on Earth have their own code. That code can be stored into a photon of light. You cannot send the code for another species into another species. It has to be the same unique code in order for it to work. So you can't take a raspberry plant and put it into a potato and expect it to be any different. It has to be a raspberry plant with a raspberry plant. That's the connotation anyway. Facetious, thank you. I know what facetious means. That's so funny. Oh. Yeah. This, I need to fix these slides. Apologies, guys. It is what it is. I can only accept my apologies. So Arabidopsis thaliana is one of the most common plants used in botanical scientific processes. When a mustard plant was grown from 2 mutated parents, it was able to spontaneously heal itself 15% of the time. To suggest that a mustard plant took a genetic defect and healed that defect to its original form without having the genetic information to do so is an incredible, miraculous phenomenon. As it starts to rain quite beautifully. GMOs are a profit-driven, corporate-focused violation of our world. If these mustard plants have rectified genetic defects back to the state they are supposed to be in... Okay, the rain isn't too loud, I hope. Wow, it's getting louder. It's really interesting. You can probably hear it. Woo! See that? Oh, no, you can't. For God's sake. You probably can't anymore. It's probably a 2. That's crazy. Look at this, look. Hold on. Can you tell what's the name for somebody who loves the rain? Well, the rain certainly came, guys. So our rain prayers worked. Emrys, that's very interesting. Well, okay then. We'll certainly put a pin in that one, because from what he mentioned in season 1, that was a different understanding. So, like I say, this is coming from David's Wisdom Teachings, so I really do appreciate that, Emrys. We'll have to... I love the name, by the way. I don't know if you know, but that's very Merlin. So Emrys is very Merlin. So very cool. Yeah. So I'll. Oh, sorry, Asana. I might have missed your comment, but I'll double check that. Yeah, I'll double check that, guys. Yeah, this microphone is very good, so you can probably hear the rain, which is very cool. Mary Poppins. Don't get me started on Mary Poppins, Katie. My mum will tell you a story about that, which is funny. If these mustard plants have rectified genetic defects back to the state they are supposed to be in, then perhaps that same event will happen within all plants which have been tampered with, and I wonder how many issues they are having with this spontaneous healing behind the laboratory doors. So yeah, very interesting. Interesting, Beverly. Well, I love it. I love the sound of rain. So hopefully it's nice and not too loud. Monsanto is trying to make it so that seeds will not reproduce and we have to pay for them for the food. But what we're realising is nature is always trying to find a way to correct the defects caused in the genetically modified foods. Nature is always rooting for us. Love stormy rain. Me too, brother. And yeah, Mum, it is another story. All the information that makes all the life on Earth is around us right now, everywhere. The genetic code of much of the life on Earth is very, very similar. Humans are very similar to dolphins, so the difference is only very minor, but it makes up for uniqueness within each creature. Dr. Peter Garyaev's experimentation with rats. So there's another experiment they did, which isn't very pleasant, but again, it's very interesting. He gave the rats alloxan, a toxin which is used to give them diabetes, which is, again, this is awful, but there's something powerful that comes from this. Hello, Just a Setting Sun. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you very much. Lovely to have you here. When you die of diabetes, you lose your pancreas. Okay, so the experiment that David was referring to is it shows that when you shine light through a healthy rat's spleen and pancreas and then redirect that into the sick rat that has lost its pancreas, the blood sugar level begins to normalize immediately, and within 8 days the pancreas completely regrew. Okay, so read that again, right? When when they shone the light into a rat that they'd made unwell, which is absolutely horrible. I hate that idea. But when they shone it into the rat, within 8 days, the pancreas had completely regrown itself. Okay, so if this stuff is true, and if this is out there, you know, again, it has incredible connotations for our world. You know, it really, really does. Oh, excuse me a second. Sorry about that. This healing light can travel up to 20 kilometers again, which is interesting. Well, the connotations for the applications of that is interesting. Existing stem cells appear to be repurposed for the task of growing the pancreas again. Dr. Peter Garyaev, actually spelt correctly, also experimented with fish eggs. Taking fish eggs at different stages of development, what he found was that certain fish eggs were stealing the vitality of other less developed fish eggs. His idea with this was that, you know, the other part of this is when you put a pane of glass between those fish eggs, the attempt to steal, I hope so, a real creation, but like I say, a lot of the studies that people do in science with rats is absolutely horrible. A lot of them do die, and I think it's absolutely disgusting. I know that here in this household we don't like that stuff, but yeah, so I have no idea, but hopefully, I mean, this was a long time ago, so probably not. It is fascinating, Rosie. That's the interesting thing. So again, I really want to find the links because I know that Google suppresses a lot of it. I know that. I remember a lot of things that came up before. I very much struggled to find it, but I did eventually. So I need a little bit more time. You know, this week was very busy. I got quite a few days this week that I can crack on with these slides and make them ready for next week because I'll fix all of the spelling on these. Perhaps Meg, my friend, can help me as well. That would be lovely. So yeah, but the understanding is that as these fish eggs were stealing the vitality, that there is a way to stop it, and it's through a glass mirror. So David's understanding is that with positivity and going into a meditative state, that we can protect our own energy and our own DNA. Okay, interesting concept. Okay, so of course I resonate with that. I very much resonate with that for many reasons. So Season 1, Episode 6, Healing with the Source Field, Part 2. Okay, so he referred to the Law of One material. That's why we have Ra over in the corner. It is a book that I read. So when David said those many, many years ago, I read all 4 books. I didn't read the 5th one because it was more about them talking. But fascinating stuff. They are very interesting books if you want to have a look. Some people have... Oh, amazing. Israel says, I had a dream the other night of you, James. Not in a weird way. That's okay. You know, dreams are very powerful. Not in a weird way, just saw your face and heard your name very clearly. Well, that's amazing to hear. Thank you for sharing that. It's so interesting with dreams, though, aren't they? They're very symbolic. You know, sometimes it's like, how do we get what the dream means? But that's amazing. You know, I really appreciate you sharing that. And maybe there's, I don't know. Maybe there's something from that. You'll have to let me know maybe if anything else comes up. But I genuinely, I really appreciate you, you sharing that, for sure. Yeah, I agree with you, a real creation. I think they will be. I think that any animal that passes in this world, and probably people as well, that they, you know, we can definitely protect our energy. I agree with you, Asana, absolutely. I was hoping to have some type of sunlight therapy here on my property for the customers. Well, that would be amazing. You know, and again, that's kind of that's very much what David is referring to, you know, is that connecting to the light around us. Again, Ra, the god of the sun. You see these connotations? Yeshua, the solar logos, the sun. You know, there's a lot of, and the lions are very connected with the sun. It's very powerful, you know, very powerful. Alright guys, I'm going to go a little bit longer. I might not even finish these slides. I'm really starting to get quite tired now. I think we'll do our meditation with David and then probably we'll catch up next week and do things next week, if that's okay with you guys. I appreciate you guys very much. Most of the teachings from Season 1 of David's Wisdom Teachings is talking about the Law of One. And again, in that book, it refers to us as energetic beings. Jennifer, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. It's lovely to have you here. We've been going through David's Wisdom Teachings. I've had quite an intense couple of days of performing, so we're going to call it a little bit earlier. I hope that's okay. But thank you for tuning in, and don't forget we will be here next Sunday too. So, anyway, this is a fascinating piece of information here. So Dr. Ian Stevenson was a scientist who did research on children who claimed that they had had a life before the one they are living now and would insist on being called by a different name. There was a girl in Lebanon who claimed to know 25 past family members, and when Dr. Ian Stevenson went to find that family, everything the little girl had said had checked out. Okay, so that's Dr. Ian Stevenson right there. So again, think about that, guys. Think about that. A girl in Lebanon, a young girl in Lebanon had said to her parents, you know, I remember the name you're calling me is not the name I am. I remember being called this name, and I remember having 25 other family members, and when he went over to check the information out, it was all accurate. And they couldn't believe it. Okay, they couldn't believe that this girl was able to remember all of these individuals' names. So what does that tell us? It tells us that life does not start biologically. It starts energetically. We're coming into the world. Okay? We're coming into the world from a place where we can remember where we were. Okay, a lot of people, you know, kids have been... I knew, actually, I had a client... One of my first ever clients had a son, and he used to talk about being in the army. And he knew he was in the army. He knew he had been a soldier in the army, and he was very specific about certain information. I've been around these individuals, you know, so there are children that come into our world who aren't affected by the veil, okay, and they can remember. Asna says, my oldest son remembered being somewhere else before he came here. He talked about it constantly until he was about 7 years old. Exactly, right? Interesting that you said it was up until 7. You know, I wonder. Asna, do you mind me asking, was your son in school? Was he in standard sort of education? Because I think there is something interesting about the education system. Why am I saying that? Because I was in it. I was in the education system, and I know for a fact that it didn't do me any good. So, you know, we're doing whatever we can in life. That's no criticism, by the way. You know, like, it's hard to get your children out of school. He was homeschooled. Interesting. That's very interesting. Well, it wasn't schooling then. I don't know then. I wonder why 7 years old is the time. You know, is there a period of time where it kind of we shut off from the past? I don't know. Isn't that fascinating? And if that's the case, how many of us have done that? You know, how many of us can't remember what we used to remember when we were a young child? So yeah, very, very interesting. Curious. Yeah, fascinating. Well, who knows then? Who knows? But again, you know, if children are coming in knowing this information, we all have this information. You know, we are all the same as each other. If some kids are coming back and they know for a fact who they were, this is very important information. You know, so this tells us a lot about who and what we truly are. So, all right then, guys, what we're going to do now is we're going to go and do David's meditation. We're going to finish with David's meditation, and then we're going to call it a day today, guys. So, just know I appreciate you. Let's go into that now. Let me just grab my headphones. Okay, so we'll come across.
Coming as well, ha ha ha. Well, if that's true,
Perfect.
and you know, I liked the movie. I thought it was great, so congratulations. Anyway, let's do this. I can't believe I've been on the air so long, but I still got almost 6,000 people watching. So here we go. Without further ado, I'd like you to close your eyes now. Just take a nice deep breath, put both feet flat on the floor, or lie down if you want to, but then you got to hit skip. Any commercial that you might hear is only going to make you go more and more deeply into a trance state. Maybe that doesn't happen, but let's try for that. Having gratuitous, wonderful, grateful breaths, happiness about who we are, feeling so much joy and love about the situations unfolding at this time, the final conclusion of all of these things we've been talking about, building up to the biggest events in the history of humanity on Earth, events that will dwarf the significance of any other religious or spiritual events we may have had before. Allowing yourself to relax, feeling the gentle rising and falling, the power of your breath, the oxygen that sustains our bodies and sustains our lives. Surrounding the earth and surrounding all of its people with great gifts of joy, bounty, and abundance, no longer living in fear, no longer living in scarcity and desperation, no longer being adversely affected by negative groups and cults who seek to hold us down, no longer feeling afraid of the future, but understanding, wow, we really have not been alone. We have planet-saving technology. Although things looked bad, it's really not as bad as we thought. Allowing ourselves to breathe as deeply as we can, going more and more into the stillness, feeling ever greater sense of peace, surrounding the earth with light, surrounding each other with the beautiful light that shows that all will be well, for you are the light, you are the love, you are the one infinite creator, and this is as it was, as it is now, and as it always shall be. And so it is. And now I'd like you to breathe your way back into the room. We still lost about another 400 people. Some people just bail out on the meditation, man. That's not cool. I got all dressed up for you. Look, I even wore a bow tie. Come on, you guys. You can't handle just a little bit of breathing? Anyway, I'm just going to keep this short because I didn't want to go more than 4.5 hours. So anyway, let's have a few more comments to close this out. Jah Love, the God of Love, says, Smoke 1789.
Yeah, well, we don't bail out, guys. We stick around and we stick it out to the end. Oh, so beautiful. Sorry, guys, I may not have set up that meditation properly and I may not have ended it. I apologise. I'm pretty knackered. Sorry, guys. I'll let you guys come back a little bit over time. Bring yourself back, if you will. And yes, so it's very interesting. So next weekend, I would like to share with you some of my mother's stories, because it's fascinating, because what my mother experienced within dreams translated to real life. So we actually have family experiences where my mother's dreams turned out to be an omen that needed to be heard. And when it was, it really did mean a massive event in our lives, because my nan was then properly looked after, which she wasn't being. So that was a warning to my mother, and then my mother, being the loving, unconditionally loving person she is, she looked after my nan. So Rosa says, loving the bow tie, James, you need to be smarter in your picture. How dare you? How dare you not accuse me of being a non-dressed individual. These holes are fashionable. You've heard holy jeans? Well, this is a holy t-shirt. In two ways. It's spiritual, and it's also, I have no idea. Okay, we've hit 5% in the tank, guys. Right, let me go through some of the comments, because there were some really good, really interesting comments. Just a setting sun. Yeah, I know, but look, like, there's a beautiful thing, and it's interesting, because whatever you believe about Jimmy Carr, I'm not super invested, but I have to admit he is a very intelligent guy. So I sometimes, his humor's also, he pops up on my YouTube. Whatever you think about that comedian, he often says that. Well, it's also about Andrew Garfield. Andrew Garfield says that the grief is all of the unexpressed love, and I just think that's really nice. It's really nice, the fact that we grieve and we feel upset, we feel sad, we feel heartache, because we love. Because we love. Because you love, when that person leaves, there's still that love there, and you want to express that love. When the cat that we have here, we're always petting and loving that cat, because we want to express that love. With Lucas and Anna, we want to express that love to one another. So when we then can't, when we seemingly can't, there's grief, there's pain. But just remember, there's only that pain because of the beauty of the love that you felt. So I know it's not easy, guys, but look, we keep coming back, and we're keeping David alive. You imagine all of that hard work and effort that he did, and we're continuing to honour that hard work and effort together. We're continuing to do global peace meditations. We're continuing to talk about the pathway to peace. And so I don't. This is it's really dangerous to this starts to become judgmental, but again, like, we are the ones. Grief is the price we pay for love. You nailed it, Rosie. Absolutely. You're absolutely on money. That's exactly what he said. Yeah. Grief is the price we pay for love. That's it. So we're in a mixture here of talking about love and grief and holy shirts. I'm putting that down to the delay on the live. So, look, guys, it's, of all of the people, the however million followers, or 555,000 subscribers, we're doing it. We're doing it. Anyway, balance. The other side of love is grief and pain. Light and darkness, you cannot have one without the other. That's a part of our world, absolutely. Even the apes had burial funeral rituals. They found they weren't so primitive, exactly. Israel says, we put new meaning on being holy, don't we, James? Exactly, yeah. Jennifer says, thanks again for all the messages, and you'll be watching back on Avast. We missed. Love always wins, absolutely. And I appreciate you, Jennifer. Thank you so much for the loving comments there. It means a lot. I think your story, yeah, no doubt. So I look forward to sharing my mama's stories next week, and we'll go through the East India Trading Company. That will be a very fascinating live. It's very much how our world has got to where it is today. So please do make sure that you put next Sunday in your diary. I know you guys will anyway, but I will schedule the live for tomorrow. I'm really going to have a break this evening. I'm just going to relax, maybe watch something, and then recharge fully and come back at it tomorrow. Deborah says, Brother James needs a tailor. I think so. I think so. Get a bow tie in here somewhere. There's probably one in my suitcase somewhere. Anne, that's really lovely to hear. I always feel better after joining here every week. Thanks, everyone. Well, we appreciate you, Anne. And again, sorry for your loss that you shared in the beginning. I'll certainly do my own, paying my own respects. So I appreciate you very much. And excuse me. Sorry. Thank you for being here. Angels for us, as I don't believe. I know it's hard. You know, again, it's hard. It's crazy. It is crazy. You know, but I'm grateful you're with us. You know. Bradeen, absolutely, I agree with you. You know, I love David's voice and his laugh. Yeah, I agree with you. Chrisea, you are using your fashion to say things till you can't. I saw a man in a clean, nice shirt. I know there are nitpickers, but they don't have to be in the spiritual message. Can't be coloured by A. And then I'll wait for your next comment. Just making sure I got all the comments in. And Rosie said, an old friend of mine had a child, 4-ish. They drove a road the child had never been down before. Long story short, he pointed out the window and said, that's where I used to live. Exactly. Why would a 4-year-old be saying that? Right? This shows reincarnation, coming back again, you know, which isn't a punishment. This isn't a punishment. This is about experiencing life on many facets. You know, when we leave this world, it's fascinating to think, you know, the kind of experiences or the kind of space that we live in. Okay, so anyway, yeah, it's very interesting. Anyway, guys, right, we're going to call it there. Just know that I appreciate you very much. Please do hit the like button. Remember, next Sunday, the exact same time. You guys are always here, so you know what time it is. Lucas and I are going to be hard at work on the Great Global Garden. I'll do plenty more videos and posts throughout the week. So just know, guys, that I appreciate you very much. Again, really powerful stuff is happening. We're making powerful moves. Once those pages are done, once we get them finished, you know, a whole new chapter opens. That means that there is so much more that we can get on with. I will have a look at the website. And other bits and pieces over this week to try to get it all ready. We have our professional emails. So I have James at thegreatglobalgarden.com and Lucas has Lucas at thegreatglobalgarden.com. And that was only £1. That was £1 for 25 emails for a year, which is absolutely crazy. You know, so we can have 25 more if we want, which is mind-blowing. So, anyway, guys. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. Chrisea, yeah, I didn't see the other comment that you messaged, so apologies if I missed that. But I'm going to head off now, guys. So we got through an hour and 30. That's about what I expected to. So just know that I love you all very, very much. So Bradeen, Blah, Deborah, Asana, Mummy Malins, Chrisea, Rosie, Israel, Brizzy, Tree Dog, Gail, Anne, Angels for You, Linda. Thank you all for being here. Katie, of course, and Katie, again, thank you so much for your generous support. Honestly, you have given the Great Global Garden a tremendous step forward. You know, there are so many things that we can do now because of your wonderful generosity. It means a lot to me. That's been put aside. So our logo will come out of that. The website will come out of that. As I said to you, many other bits and pieces. So, you know, you're a wonderful soul. Appreciate you so much. Thank you for doing what you did. It's very kind of you. So, like I say, guys, Yelena, thank you all for being here. A Real Creation, Lenny, Deborah, Just a Setting Sun. Love you all to the moon and back. You have a beautiful week. I hope that all of the best. We will send our love to Nepal and everything that we can. So take care, guys. Have a beautiful time. James is cool. Thanks so much, Lucas. Take care, guys. And I'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.